Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Better than who is not subscribing our channel, by the way? You?
You need to subscribe. Yesterday it worked. We got like 25 subscribers, so we only need to do a few more of these.
Just 300 more and we'll be in the 1,000. So if you're not subscribing our channel, please subscribe, follow, like, share it with your friend, mom, daughters, things like that. Because we are YouTubers, by the way. And of course, by the other things, we are here on Codegarden, if anyone noticed, and it's day 2. End of the conference.
End of day 2, yeah. Last talks have been given. We just had Scott Hansman, of course, and Ponima just before that. 2 fantastic talks. We've had some equally fantastic talks today. We've got a few of the speakers as well who will be joining us, and we can chat with them. But yeah, how have you found it all so far? Day 2.
Good day. Yeah. I must say it was organized very well. Everything was smooth. All of the talks, high quality. The ones I've attended, and for the first time, and not the last time, I believe, I had a problem with choosing which talk to attend. That's the really great problem to have. But we will solve this problem today, hopefully, with some guests joining us on stage.
For sure.
To share some of their highlights of their day and their attendance on the Codegarden conference this year.
Absolutely.
Who we want to start with?
I've got a nice range of people to pick from. Come on. Come on up.
Join us on stage.
Round of applause, everyone. Have a coffee, if you would like a coffee.
Yeah, you take some coffee. We've realized that we were missing some same events in Poland, in various areas of the world, and you were attending a lot of events. You are attending a lot of events. Codegarden is one of them. So why do you think that Codegarden is somehow special, different? What did you like the most from the event?
First, it's in Denmark, special place, yeah, and really amazing people here. It's you're feeling here comfortable to be talking to everyone. Everyone is accepting you. Everyone wants to talk with you. Everyone wants to think how to replace ideas, and it's really fun.
We actually met on the train on the way here, accidentally.
Yes, accidentally.
You heard us talking about code and went, wait a minute.
You are going to Codegarden. yeah. It was, I thought that I'm taking one flight, and then I understand that I have another flight, which is the train, I had a connection.
Yeah. And your talk was this morning, was that right?
Yes.
And it was on how CSS works.
Yes.
So how does CSS
How it works, by the way, because we are both backenders by heart, and we would love to know how it works. Because
really? Okay.
In 30 seconds.
In 30 seconds. Technically, there are 2 layers of parts that you have in the browser that creating the default styles that you see in the browser. First, every property in CSS has initial value, and this is for all the property in CSS, and some specific HTML elements are coming from the second layer, which is the user agent style sheet that creates some special style for some special HTML element. Like, yes, div display block, this is a special style. I know that it's hard, seems to be crazy, but the default of the display property is inline for all the elements except the special elements.
Okay, wow. It is a lot more complicated than I thought, at least. So,
every time when I think about CSS, I remind myself this animation of the cartoon person trying to make some alignments on the windows, and that's how CSS for me. And it's tough, it's hard. It's good to hear that it's working. And it can be enhanced and done very well. So, and I know that you've said that you gave this talk multiple times, and a lot of people kind of still don't know this kind of things, and that's the amazing part of it. Did it bring you a joy today to also ship it?
Of course, and it's amazing because this is one of the basic blocks how browser is working. And if you ask maybe all of the web developer, 99%, they cannot answer this question. And to tell you the truth, until I think 2019, that I was working as a web developer for 15 years, I had still miss and match in those areas. I really started to think how it really works, the basic parts in the CSS of the browser. Yeah. And it's not so complicated, really, when you're trying to figure it out.
And until you're writing some CSS, you can't get your code to work, and then it's really complicated. This is your first Codegarden, first time in Denmark as well?
Yes, yes.
What's your thoughts on the experience?
It's fun. It's really fun. It's like in a good weather. Yeah, I heard that something.
Surprisingly good weather.
Yeah, today it's even
Unseasonably.
too much hot. Yeah, it's I'm sweating. Yeah, I need to be in Denmark. I felt like it's in the air condition.
Yeah. No, it's definitely been nice weather. We were out late outdoors last night, and it wasn't freezing cold or anything either. So that's fantastic.
You survived. Any plans for the rest of the day and stay in Denmark from your perspective?
Any what?
Any plans? Anything that you want to?
The party today. Tomorrow in the morning I will go to Copenhagen because I want to see Copenhagen. I still didn't see it. Just took the train to here.
Not the plane.
Train. There's no plane to go to Copenhagen.
Cool. That's amazing. And again, if you have, who saw the talk done today by Alan in the morning? One person.
Shy, but that's not true. There was more than one person.
Yes,
talk,
yes,
right?
yes. At least two. Yeah, I'm kidding.
I heard that it was recorded, so it's in the app. Everyone can watch it. And thanks for being here, and thanks for sharing this knowledge. And again, that's amazing to have you here.
Let's give Elad a round of applause, everyone.
Thank you for having me.
Take your coffee, Mark.
Take your coffee, Mark.
Amazing. So, as we said, we're on a tight schedule here. We're going to be going through guests like crazy. So, next up, I think, should we do a double whammy? Let's do a double whammy. Let's give a round of applause for Per and Shannon, please. Good day, sir. High five. Hello.
Low five.
Hopefully people know. Sure, it doesn't matter.
Compare heights.
You're all the same height when you're sitting down.
Fake it till you make it.
I hope neither of these two need much introduction. But of course, Shannon, you're now at Microsoft. You're no longer at umbraCo HQ.
That's correct. I finished at HQ in September last year. Mm-hmm. Just like as V9 launched, I was like, yes, finally, 10 years in the making. And I'm out.
Not for me anymore. I leave.
But still involved in the community. Recently re-awarded MVP this year because...
Yeah.
Well, I never had an original one.
You didn't?
No.
No.
This is my first.
No way.
Congrats.
Correct.
Big congratulations.
I am super proud.
Fantastic.
I actually totally forgot that I was nominated. And then they held me on stage and I was like, oh yeah.
I just
By the
thought
way-
you'd have had one before. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, but definitely heavily involved in the community still. Still support a bunch of libraries that umbraCo depends on. Yeah. And still loving it.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
And Per, I mean, you've been around the community a long time, but you've been absent for a few years. It's nice to see you back.
Thank you.
And you've got a new job recently. You're working for Spotify.
Yes, I do.
Indeed. And you live in Berlin now?
Yes.
Does that explain the skinny jeans, the hair, the tattoos?
Yes. I was talking to Warren earlier, and we were talking about I don't own anything that's not black, basically. so laundry day is like extremely convenient and easy.
But it's like Marcus Brownlee from here, black matte all
black
the way,
everything.
right?
Yeah.
Black matte everything.
Well, fantastic to have you both. I watched your talk, Per, and it was very, very insightful. Yeah. As someone who runs an agency, and we feel very passionately about open source and investing in that, and also giving back and doing that in a sustainable way. It was incredibly insightful to hear your experience of open source at a kind of enterprise scale, but also on the smaller scale with umbraCo.
Yeah, it's. I think after leaving umbraCo, I made the insane choice of going into German enterprise IT. It sounds good, but. And that's true. So I found myself in a city where no one really has heard of umbraCo and no one really uses C# for anything. So it's a totally different world. And actually figuring out how enterprises see open source is just a totally different world. It's like where these like fun things of like risk reduction and ownership and so on comes from. It's like in a big enterprise, you don't really have this natural passion, or you do on the individual level, but the company don't really have an organized way of giving a shit, basically.
Yeah. And I really like the example you've mentioned about James South and ImageSharp, because we do open source. We are all here open source fueled all the time, but then it's a business behind the scenes, right? And it's all about numbers, money, income, and everything like that. And James is a great example, and I already tweeted him about the being mentioned in your talk, because he is a great example, right? We need to pay back. We need to understand that what we do, what you do as well, right, Shannon? It's like it's not something what is a pet project, right? It's not open source work is work, right? As you mentioned today, it is a work, and we need to all understand that. And again, Microsoft also appreciates it as well, pushes it to the limits almost recently as well. And if we as the developers, consumers, and people who are using tools won't understand that and won't kind of apply any policies to do that, I think that won't help for the whole industry.
It's incredibly well timed, because Shannon and I yesterday evening were talking, maybe Shannon doesn't remember this, there was some beers involved. We were talking about how you have your Examine project and you have Examine X, which is a commercial version on top of it that allows you to work with like Azure Search. And you were saying how you really struggle with, how do you sell it? Like you're an individual, you're one person, you're not a sales team, you have no, you kind of have to partner with agencies and trust them to recommend it to clients. Yeah. And that, I guess, the hope is that sustains your other open source work, but it's a tough challenge. It's
a super hard challenge, because the amount of time you spend on developing is already extracurricular. Like it's already after hours, and then trying to spend time on doing sales and marketing, like, oh, that's not my forte anyway. I don't want to do that at all, and so I don't have time at all to do it. So it's kind of just a hopeful growth and to see what happens. And so far, like, it's okay. It could be much better, but yeah, there's only so much time in the day you can actually do, and you only want to do what you want to do to make yourself happy. I like coding. Yeah, I love coding. Making a product was actually the hardest part about Examine X. It wasn't the actual coding; it was actually productizing it and getting it to market. That was, I would say that was more than 50% of all the work, was productizing it, getting a website up, licensing, all these other things like terms and conditions. Like you start thinking about all this stuff, and you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. But it is what it is, and it's worth it. Like it was an experience, that's for sure. But yeah, sales and marketing that's a whole nother layer. But as we said, and kind of as you mentioned in your talk, Per, the role of helping keep open source sustainable is by us as consumers contributing back, and whether that is helping you out with that sales and marketing role, promoting the product for you, raving about it when it's solved a problem for us, or if it's sponsoring on GitHub, or through various things. There's so many ways that we can all be getting involved in making open source more sustainable.
Yeah. And, how do you organize your time right now, Shannon? Is open source a part of your work then? Yeah, so I wouldn't say I schedule it. It's kind of random, but I work weird hours at the moment to have some overlap with the Sydney team. So I start at 11, but I try to start at 10, just to go through emails and do my own stuff. So I try to do about an hour or two. Every day. Maybe every day, nice. Just on community work and my own work. A long time ago when I was young, I would just stay up all night and just code. But I just can't do that anymore. Yeah, sounds familiar. Yeah.
Some of the best features came from that.
Lots. Yeah. 4 a.m. features.
When we were young, 4 a.m., bottle of whiskey, deleted the database on production.
Who is that?
I don't want to bring it publicly, but I remember this story. 2 weeks of hard work to bring it back. Not recommended. That's amazing. And again, I think we all need to kind of advocate this kind of work as well, and appreciate what we do, right? Because again, we use Examine all the time. We use everything what you did, what you guys did, and what umbraCo did as well every day. And again, it's not something what is just free. And there was a saying in Poland, by the way, recently. It's like someone brought it to me today. It's free is a fair price. Something like that, right? So It's not for free.
I like the analogy that you used, Per, in your talk. It's
Yeah.
free as a puppy is free,
Yeah.
but then it chews your sofa and you have to replace the sofa.
Exactly, and again, it's software after all, everywhere, right? We do software. We know how hard it is. We know how hard it is to find us time to do these things. And who does open source from all of us right now, right? Who is creating products for someone else? Not all of us, right? So we need to appreciate people who are doing it, again, in the spare time, when they were young, or things like that, and appreciate them, and help them. That's all what we can do. That's what I would say.
I agree. Of course, both Codegarden veterans, you've been here a lot. How does this compare to previous Codegardens? Is there anything you've really enjoyed, anything you're looking forward to still?
So I don't have any responsibilities here at all. So
No Theresa May appearance.
I'm way less tired, stressed, and hungover. I did not build a stage until like 6 in the morning for this thing. So I think that's a huge improvement. I didn't actually see any talks because I've just been busy with like meeting people I know from this community. So that's the primary thing for me. Yeah, because I don't do any of this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm in enterprise IT.
Well, I'm equally hungover, as with all Codegardens, but feeling great nonetheless. And I'm excited to see what the heck's going to happen tonight because, well, in theory, you're not there.
Can I take one of the beers, by the way?
Yes, they're for you. Please. You have to drink it in a coffee mug.
It's
Oh, sorry, yes, it's coffee. Sorry.
It's a family content.
Otherwise, we get
banned on YouTube.
We get demonetized. Otherwise,
But I have no idea what to expect, and I'm super excited.
yeah.
I don't know.
I've heard. I like spoiling things. Though I'm not. So I'll say
Another
this.
axe request.
I know that that Lottie and Runa are in charge of whatever is going to happen tonight.
Special event.
So I'm sure we can expect good things. Really good things. I don't know. Okay.
It was an official axe request, then straight to the Kim.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be sushi for dinner.
It's about
Sushi
time.
was
Everyone
done
loved
well.
the sushi the last time, so that was amazing.
We don't want to spoil things. That's the thing. But again, very great appreciation and thank you for doing your talks. Great to see you guys. And then you were missed for a long time. Big long round of applause for our speakers today, right?
Please take your coffee with you.
Grab the beers. Yeah.
All righty. So.
On time.
Yeah, we're keeping an eye on the time, but
we enjoyed the coffee.
I think we can welcome our final guest, which is a complete honor, in fact, because there's been a few people from Microsoft here over the course of the event. Of course, Shannon is at Microsoft, but we don't count him. He's a community member.
Our guy.
We had the talk yesterday from Scott Hunter,
Yes.
Who unfortunately couldn't be here in person. We just had the fantastic keynote from Scott Hanselman. I saw someone, one of the first question he got was, what software do you use to zoom in on your screen? He said, I've just spent an hour talking about, I can't even remember, was it management and something? Something like that. Yeah. But
he needs to blog about it.
But the first thing anyone was interested in was what software is he using to manage his
and
screen.
the same question I asked Scott a couple of years ago, what camera he's using for this high quality talks. And of course he blogged about it. Yeah. There's a blog about the whole setup. And it was an amazing talk. Again, one of these hybrid experiences. And hope you all enjoyed that because it was very good to see this kind of working. Hybrid, online person joining the physical event and high quality talk, high quality video, and everything else.
Absolutely.
So
but we do have a fantastic, very knowledgeable person with us today. I watched his talk this morning, thoroughly enjoyed it. Let's invite Mads Torgersen on the stage, please. Thank you.
Hi, Mads.
All right.
And please help yourself to a coffee.
Thank you. I brought my own coffee.
Yeah, we have a coffee for you as well.
I don't want to have two coffees going at the same time.
Yeah, it's too much caffeine. That's
Yeah, especially the carbonated coffee doesn't go so well with being on stage.
That's true, but that's our fuel. Yeah, we both enjoyed your talk, and again, we talked between the speak and talk and the community events about the C# evolution of everything, and that's amazing to be seen. And again, most of us, who is a backend developer, who works with the C# every day? Damn it. That's amazing. Again, I love you. We love you too. Again, it was mentioned today as well that evolution of the language, it's happening so fast, so rapid. That's I remember myself doing talks about amazing features in C#6, C#7. Yeah. And now, to be honest, that's my honest answer today. I realized it's version 11 already. Damn, yeah. I missed some of these, right?
We've missed out on a lot of this stuff because umbraCo's been, should we say, stuck in the past. We've been on .NET Framework for ages. We've only really had a year of production .NET Core with latest language features, and it's a complete change of how we work. Like I was writing some code the other day and found just how much more efficient it is. How much previously I'd have had to do, countless null checks and all that sort of handling, and now it's all really elegant. You've got the null propagation, which of course we've had for a long time, but with the nullable reference types that are now like on by default with umbraCo 10 that came out today. We should have mentioned that. That really helps with writing quality code, and I know from my experience of some of the internal Microsoft demos that go on around the C# language stuff, the team is incredibly focused on making it more accessible, easier to get started. Like number of lines for a Hello World app is sort of a metric that you're measured on or have been measured on. So it's really great to see that work come to life. Fantastic.
So what would you say, Mats, from your perspective? It's like what excites you the most with the changes we are talking about right now in the recent language changes?
Well, that's a good question because obviously usually there's one or two really big features, and they're the ones that we spend the most time on and the most effort on. This time around, it's the static abstracts and interfaces and the accompanying interfaces for numerics, which is like, I'm very excited about it because if we're lucky and if the communities out there pick it up, it's really opening the door to much more advanced numeric programming and just being able to write a generic algorithm that does something numeric. That's been missing for 20 years now, and we figured out how to do it. So we're like, okay, let's do that. And that's big. So that is, I mean, that's probably the one that I spent most of my brain on. I don't really like to pick favorites. It's like they're all my children. I don't want to, But that's certainly the biggest of my children.
but also from let's say open source perspective, right? It's like C# language is still kind of open source, right? You listen a lot to people, and you reverted some of the changes to the language because of the voice of the community. How do you see this collaboration with the community? And then how do you value it? How do you kind of work with it daily, right? When it comes to the community involvement into C# language evolution?
Well, I think we try to have as many channels as possible open. Of course, the C# design, as opposed to implementation, even having its own GitHub repo and a lot of interaction going on in there, a lot of the community getting engaged in the language design and also in the implementation of it. I don't know how we ever did without it. I think essentially, I mean, we had Anders, and he's brilliant, and he has enormous intuition about developers, and so somehow we managed to do more hits than misses, even while developing in the dark for like 2 or 3 years at a time, and then just coming out and saying, "Here's what we got," and people were like, "Yeah," because it was Anders. But I don't have that. To be honest, I'm not much of a developer, and we really need a day-to-day feedback loop in order to make the language great. So both in terms of what's important for us to focus on, and also when it comes to concrete features, are we on the right track? Are we doing the best we can here? And that can't really just be some sort of like a community gimmick, right? You have to take it seriously. And that means when you get feedback that is mixed, like we did on the feature we withdrew from C# 11, it was not that it was bad. It was always like 60% liked it. Yeah, it's 60% thought we should have the feature, and of those, 60% thought we should have the syntax we had settled on, and so it's always like 60%. Even internally, it was 60%. MVPs, it was 60%. Everywhere, it was like 60%. Like I'm 60% in love with you. Is that really like? So we're like, okay, let's save that one, put it in the pocket, save it for another time, yank it out of the preview, and just move on. Because we want to put things in that really rock. And if you're 60% loved, you don't really rock.
Yeah.
So
it's like a go big or go home, right? That's the thing. But that's amazing. And again, there was a lot of improvements over the time. And I had one question, because we talked about it today, and then it's an amazing to be kind of an influencer of the community and so many people using the tool you've built, right? But what is your favorite language outside of the C# then?
Oh. That's a good question. I like Spanish. Spanish is cool. It's very regular.
I learned English. I try to...
I'm not very good at it, but I like how it...
Let's fix my Ponglish and my question then. What is your favorite programming language? Is it correct? English, right? Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid answering.
I know.
If you didn't pick that up. I was hoping I could get it.
Let me help you. I know there is a lot of TypeScript influence on the C# language evolution, F#, etc. Right? So we all love various languages. I love Go, for example. I learned a lot of Ruby on Rails, for example. I love them. I don't use them, but I love them. So is there anything like that from your perspective? Do you observe? Do you kind of follow what's happening in the other languages at all?
I do, and I think the reason it's hard is that I like them for different things. Yeah. Like when it comes to philosophy, core philosophy, I think one of my favorite languages is Scala, because it really seriously attempts not just to put object-oriented and functional in the same language, but actually to unify them as concepts. And I really, really love that. Now, do I love the language? Not sure, but I'm very inspired by the philosophy, and as you can see, C# starting very much in the object-oriented corner. We try to bend towards functional in a way that, I hope you can see it, in a way that doesn't kind of snap it in two and give you two dialects of C#, but kind of just blend some functional concepts in as deeply as we can with the object-oriented. So that's been one of the most inspiring to me. Outside of that, I have a kind of a childhood flame, if you will, that continues to inspire me to this day. And maybe someone here has heard of it. It was developed primarily in Denmark. It's called Beta, B-E-T-A, Beta. No? Anyone ever?
Any Beta developers?
There we go. There we go. What's that? Yeah, he's old enough to remember it, and so am I. Yeah, let's talk. So it was the second programming language built, or in part, by the inventor of object-oriented programming, Christian Nygaard, or however you say it in Norwegian, who invented he invented the similar programming language with one person. Then he came to Aarhus, Denmark, and invented Beta as a second go at a programming language. And it's so chock full of great ideas that sometimes I look at it for those. It was so much trying to unify and generalize that it became hard to program with. Because, a class and a function is the same thing, same language construct, and you're like, okay, but is this one intended to be used as a class or a function? I don't know, maybe, figure it out. So you can generalize yourself sort of out of usefulness in a way, and I think it did that to a degree, but it was so deeply thought out and had such deep concepts that things keep coming from it. People don't realize how much in modern type systems, for instance, started there. Associated types that many languages have today. Scala's pioneered them. They call them abstract types. And, great language feature. Started as virtual types in Beta. I just keep being inspired by its sort of principledness and forward-lookingness. So I'll take that one today.
Not that crazy as brainfuck, for example, but still good language, good languages. But okay, so that's about the language evolution. And I had one more question, but I need to think about bringing the column.
I will take over. Of course, this is your first Codegarden.
It is.
Yeah, it's been a different Codegarden.
Yep.
A lot of others as well. Of course, we've had this hybrid format. You do a lot of conferences. I already know that. But how does this compare? How's the community for you? How have you found your umbraCo experience?
You're kind of seeding a response here, aren't you? I was very surprised to come here because I had no expectation. To be honest, I didn't know umbraCo. I kind of had a vague idea of what it was. I heard, .NET, great .NET partners, all that. I didn't really know what to expect. And I come in and I find this very, very energized, diverse, loving, friendly community. And I've been really bowled over. I literally knew no one here. I met a few people before, but I came here not knowing anyone. Like my 2 buddies didn't show up, right? Can't trust the Scots. So I come here and expect to kind of sit in a corner on my own. And I've just been welcomed, and I've had conversations all the time. I made it to a few talks, but I barely made it to any. Wouldn't have understood it anyway, but just the warm embrace that I felt here, it's just really knocked me over. It's been great. Yeah.
That's fantastic, and we didn't pay him to say that.
Yet.
Well, I think it's fantastic to have someone like yourself come to events like this because, as I say, we've been kind of a bit stuck in the past, and it really does help inspire, inform about some of the newer things we can do, the more exciting things we can do. And personally, every time I see a new C# feature, I get really excited about it. You were mentioning today's static interface members, that's unreal. I've wanted that for so long, so long. I can really get excited about it, and I don't think we whilst we're a .NET focused community, we don't often have that much C# and .NET information shared. It's all CMS focused, and my background as a software developer, I find that so much more interesting.
But we used to talk a lot about language and everything behind the scenes, and right now I think it's the best time for us as a community to think about it, because right now we are unblocked with all the limitations of the previous kind of legacy stuff, and we can think about umbraCo running with C# 11, 12, 13, umbraCo 11, 12, 13, etc. So that's a very good time to see that, and great from your side to bringing this kind of amazing new features and insights from the preview version of C#. And yeah, that's more to come for sure, right? And what I love the most, to be honest, from kind of back-end developer's perspective, is we have so many ways of writing code right now, so many ways of even writing the same code, and there is no best way, right? It's the way that you like the most, right? And that's something for you and for your team and everyone who is behind it is an amazing, right? Because we can trust you to convert whatever we like the most into something what will work at the end of the day. And that's all what we love. And I think we all should agree, I believe, that we are amazed and still loving C#. And it was in the Stack Overflow survey, it was top 3, right? Somewhere in the top 3 from the most beloved languages.
Yeah, it depends on which year you look and that kind of stuff. But
I'm trying to be up to date.
We are usually up there.
Yeah, but that makes things understandable. And for me, it's normal. I love C#. I use C# every day, and then same with you guys. Keep it up, and then keep us busy following the amazing changes and new features in the language. And yeah, big round of applause for Mats and for this.
Let's give him ourselves. Thank you. All right, we are right on time. I said we had to be done by 6.
Perfect.
It is 6 o'clock.
Perfect.
This never happens. We are never this prepared. But thank you very much for coming. Tomorrow, we have umbraCoffee on the main stage. We have the pleasure of closing the event, and we will not be letting anyone leave until we hit 1,000 subscribers. So if you'd like to leave on time tomorrow, please go to YouTube, subscribe to us now. Also, if you would like a coffee, a bag of our limited edition umbraCoffee coffee, or you would like some coasters, please come and say hi, because
we tried them yesterday and it didn't work well, but we can try that after we will end the live stream. To not get deleted from YouTube for anything. And yeah, that's what we are doing. Looking forward for today. Thank you, guys.
Sorry to interrupt you, fabulous folk. Thought you might like to know that the Codegarden Gala dinner will be starting at 6:30 on the nose. So please, replenish your drinks, find some chums, and take your seats for the evening.
So we could have had another half an hour.
Okay.
Let's not someone We're off.
1, 2, 1. Oh,
We're still here. No, I think we were told we had to finish at 6. We'll finish at 6.
everything was planned. Of course, we were informed about these interruptions.
Let's give our guests one final round of applause. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow.